Learning English is actually very easy. First, you download Duolingo, then you learn for 3 days. Then you forget about it for 3 weeks. Then you watch 27 videos called How I Learned English in 30 Days, made by someone who learned it in 8 years. And somehow, your English still hasn't improved. A lot of people think learning a language is difficult because languages are difficult. But I don't think that's the real reason. Because every year, millions of people start learning English, and most of them quit. Not because they're stupid, not because they don't have enough time, and not because English is impossible to learn. I think most people fail for a much simpler reason. They're trying to learn English. Instead of using it, they're always looking for a better app, a better course, a better study plan, but almost never spend enough time actually listening, reading, watching, or speaking. And maybe that's why learning English feels so hard. Anyway, welcome to Cat Notes. Today, I want to talk about why learning English feels so hard, and why the way most people learn languages might be the problem. For a long time, I thought I was learning English the right way. Twice a week, I had lessons with a tutor, and honestly, I thought that would be enough. I just assumed that if I kept showing up, eventually, I'd become fluent. But after some time, something felt wrong. Sure, I knew a few more words. I understood a little more than before, but my English wasn't improving nearly as fast as I expected. The problem wasn't the tutor. The problem was that I only interacted with English a few hours a week. The rest of the time, I completely forgot it existed. Then, later on, something changed. I read Atomic Habits. Around the same time, someone recommended a YouTube channel about learning English. And for the first time, I stopped treating English like a school subject. I started doing a little bit every day, not 4 hours, just consistently. And over time, something interesting happened. English slowly became part of my daily life. I started watching videos in English, reading in English, listening to English almost every day. And that's when I finally started making real progress. And the funny thing is, I didn't make progress because I found some secret method. I didn't suddenly discover the perfect app or the perfect course. What changed was much simpler than that. English stopped being something I studied and became something I used. Instead of trying to memorize hundreds of words, I started watching things I genuinely enjoyed. Instead of forcing myself through boring exercises, I looked for content that made me want to come back the next day. And that's probably the biggest mistake most people make. They treat a language like a school subject, something you sit down and study for an hour, then forget about until tomorrow. But languages don't really work like that. They're everywhere, in videos, movies, books, games, even the content you're watching right now. The more ways you find to bring a language into your daily life, the easier it becomes to learn without constantly feeling like you're studying. And the best part is, the benefits go far beyond just speaking another language. At some point, English stops being the goal and starts becoming a tool that gives you access to more information, more books, more videos, more ideas. Some of the best content on the internet is made in English. And when you understand it, an entirely new world opens up. I've noticed this myself. Whether it's learning a new skill, watching educational videos, or even getting into programming, English makes everything easier. Not because you suddenly become smarter, but because you have access to so many more resources. Instead of waiting for a translation, you can learn directly from the source. And that's why I don't think learning English is really about finding the perfect method, or the perfect app, or the perfect course. Because the thing that helped me the most wasn't a secret technique. It was simply making English part of my everyday life. A little bit every day, for a long time. And over time, those small efforts started adding up. And looking back, I think that's what learning English is really about. Not talent, not intelligence, and not finding some magical method that makes everything easy. It's about consistency, small efforts repeated over and over again, for long enough. Because when I first started learning English, I thought progress would come from studying harder. But in reality, most of my progress came from simply spending more time around the language. Watching, reading, listening, using it every day. And over time, Those small efforts started adding up, until one day I realized I could understand things that used to feel impossible. And maybe that's the most important lesson I've learned. Learning English isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up consistently long enough to see the results. Because the truth is, most people don't fail to learn English because they're not capable of it. They fail because they stop too soon, just a few weeks or a few months before the results start becoming visible. Anyway, this was Cat Notes. If you enjoyed this video, maybe leave a like and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what helped you improve your English the most? Was it books, movies, YouTube, or something completely different? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.